Yeah. All right. So next we're gonna hear from Liz Whitehouse. So she's one of our big BISA supporters. She's the pathfinder for IDA here in South Africa. And IDA have just launched their new strategy for 2021 to 2024 on sustainable growth. So it's perfect timing, I think, Liz, to come in and let's hear all about the IDA's new initiatives.
Great. Thank you very much, John, and thank you for the opportunity to speak to you this morning. Good morning to everyone. I'll try and be brief. As John has indicated, I'm a pathfinder for IDA Ireland. I've been doing this for the last year, 2.5 years now. Is it? Yes, 2.5 years. And I'm just going to run quickly through IDA's strategy because it addresses specifically issues around sustainability. Just to give you a brief background on IDA Ireland. So IDA is the Foreign Direct Investment Agency of Ireland. It's 100% funded by the Irish government. And really their whole reason for being is to attract new foreign investment to Ireland and then to work with existing investors in Ireland to scale and develop their investments. Ireland is recognized globally, as I'm sure you all know, as a location where companies can source excellent talent at competitive costs, and certainly from a South African perspective, that's a very important aspect of looking at Ireland as a location. It's business friendly, English speaking, and the only English speaking country left in the European Union, which is a real benefit. And I think I don't think many people actually understand how successful Ireland has been with its FDI. The world's top 5 software companies are located there, 14 of the 15 of the top medtech companies, 18 out of 25 of the top financial services companies, 10 out of 10 on top pharma. So their track record is extraordinary. Just in terms of the strategic business focus, it's very, very specific what Ireland is good at and the types of businesses they're trying to attract. Technology, consumer business services, life sciences, engineering, industrial clean tech, and then international financial services. And the types of roles or activities that are being carried out by these businesses in Ireland, it's global business service units, high value manufacturing, and then research, development, innovation. So a very clean and very well thought out strategic business focus for Ireland in that regard. Just interestingly, in 2020, IDA has done incredibly well in terms of performance, and despite COVID, investments have grown through this pandemic. So in 2020, over 20,000 new jobs were created through investment. There were 246 investments through IDA that we won, and of these, 95 were new name investments. So despite COVID, Ireland has continued to do very well in this area. So IDA has just launched this new strategy, which is driving recovery and sustainable growth. It's a strategy, a 4-year strategy, 2021 through to 2024. And IDA has placed sustainable growth at the center of the strategy, and that is in line with government policy and with international consensus around issues in sustainability, the vision of clients, and also the demands of Irish citizens. Under this strategy, IDA will seek to grow growth that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs, while fostering an inclusive, sustainable, and resilient economy and society. IDA's strategy is the sustainable growth, driving recovery and sustainable growth is built around 5 very distinct pillars, one of which is sustainability. And one of the key deliverables under that pillar specifically is to embrace a green recovery with 60 sustainable investments. So that is the target for IDA globally, is to get 60 new investments, sustainability investments in Ireland in this period of this strategy. So what does this actually mean in terms of winning FDI and meeting the IDA metric of employment? So yeah, that is the metric that everyone at IDA is measured on, it's Irish jobs. So really, I suppose there's 3 pillars to this strategy, the green economy strategy. The first is IDA clients and climate action. So IDA has 1,500 client companies that they work with in Ireland. They employ over 250,000 people. And IDA is actively working with all of these companies to help them decarbonize and wean them off fossil fuels and onto renewables. And IDA is partnering in this regard with the Sustainable Energy Authority of Ireland, to achieve this. I think we're also partnering with Enterprise Ireland, trying to address it through those means. So that is the one pillar, is working with companies that are already invested in Ireland. Secondly, on the FDI side, IDA is promoting Ireland as a location for green economic activity. And I'll just go on to the next slide here just to show you. So there's 4 subsectors of strategic interest that have been identified specifically for Ireland FDI. The first one is decarbonization infrastructure. So things like wind turbine assembly, electricity grid flexibility and efficiency, and R&D operation. These are just examples of the types of investment that we will look at. The next one is decarbonization technology. So that would be energy storage, carbon capture, sustainable materials technology. So for example, next generation battery development and manufacture, or something around the green hydrogen development. The next one is pure play sustainability software. So that would be software that would be measured, management, analytics, circular enablement. So an example, there would be sustainable software as a service, software development in Ireland. And then the last one, energy and sustainability service. So they're looking at supply chain assessment, consultancy research. And an example, there would be an energy efficient consultancy service that's set up in Ireland to service the European Union as a whole. So those are specifically the types of new FDI that IDA is looking at attracting into Ireland. Just to go back to this one, so that's the second pillar. The third one is looking specifically at IDA and IDA's Ireland's sustainability. So IDA as an organization has a target to promote environmental sustainability in its own activities and to reduce its footprint. The organization has set a target of a 25% improvement in energy efficiency by 2024. It's a steep target, but one that we're confident that we will meet. So for example, so IDA is the second largest property owner in Ireland, and the organization is continually assessing the potential for sustainable enhancements across that property portfolio. And we're looking at things such as efficient public lighting, building or getting sustainable transport links into business parks that are owned by IDA, those sorts of things. So those really are, if you take the IDA's strategy on sustainability, and this is how it translates at a very practical level, these are the 3 pillars of what IDA is focused on. Just in terms of Ireland's value proposition for a green economy for investment, I suppose looking at the new clients would be more interesting from a South African perspective. Number one is the attractive market. Certainly the Irish government has a serious ambition around moving Ireland and meeting targets and becoming a green economy. And this is aligned to EU ambitions, so you have the backup of government. There's also a range of financial supports available. IDA has certain financial supports, and also the EU Green Deal funding is available to certain investments in Ireland. The next one is talent. As I've mentioned, talent is, Ireland is very lucky to have a very educated and well-qualified workforce that investors can tap into. And the last one is this collaborative ecosystem. So Ireland is a global leader in terms of scientific research, and there's this incredibly strong link between government, industry, and academia in Ireland, which works very well and is certainly very attractive from an investment perspective. So that's really the IDA, what IDA is looking at in terms of their new strategy and sustainability. Before I go, I just wanted to mention one more. One of the other companies, the other organizations, Irish organizations that I work for in South Africa is Board Beer, which is the Irish Food Board. And Board Beer has they have what they call Origin Green, and it's the world's only national food and drink sustainability program. It's quite unique, and it drives sustainability improvements across the entire supply chain at a national level. So Board Beer, 90% of food and drink exports from Ireland are from verified Origin Green members, which is extraordinary. So Board Beer is really encouraging Irish food and beverage industry to comply with this. And you'll see, so something like 84% of Irish farmers are conducting soil tests on a regular basis. 84% of food manufacturers have received a 17% reduction in water use per unit of output. So it's a whole, it's a very well thought out system, and it's a well thought out program, and certainly something that the Irish food and beverage industry has bought into very solidly. And as I said, it's completely unique. There's no other country in the world that has a national sustainability program for the agricultural food and beverage sector. Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity. I'd be happy to take any questions on this later. Thank you for the opportunity.